Hello everyone, my name is Godfrey Sunya, and in this video, I will demonstrate my C++ application, which is a music application, and explain the programming concepts I use in building this particular project. The goal of this project was to create a command line application that allows users to manage playlists containing different types of media, including music that is songs from various artists and podcasts. I've limited it to songs and podcasts for now. As time goes on, we'll add some more features to it to make it more lively. And whilst developing this software, I focused on improving my understanding of C++ objects-oriented programming, where file handling, dynamic memory management, and organizing layer projects into multiple files uh, is a thing that I have to put in all these projects to make it more appealing and alive. The project structure uh, was originated into multiple files to make the code easier to maintain. Now, the included folders contains my header files. These files define the structure of the classes. Now, the SRC folder contains the implementation files where I write the actual behavior of each classes, and the main components of these projects are as follows. I have the media file, which is base class for all media types, where the song file also is a class that represents music tracks. A podcast too, as I've listed here in the VS Code, a class that represents podcast episodes, and a music player, the class responsible for managing the playlist, whilst the last one was the main, which controls the user interface of the program and the program flow. Now, each explanation of these classes are as follows. The foundation of this program is a music file class. This is an abstract class because it contains a pure virtual function of uh, the class called play. The purpose of this class is to create um, a common structure that all media types can be shared. Now, the classes store common information such as media titles and the duration, so the length of either the song or the podcast. Now, the key virtual allows diverse classes to provide their own version of the play function. For example, when music plays differently from a podcast, so each class overrides the play function. And also open song and the song and the podcast classes inherit from the media file, where you can see the media file also contains some shortcode that demonstrates the types of files you be putting in the code. Now, the music and the podcast inherits, as I said earlier, they inherit from the classes from what media file. Now, this demonstrates inheritance because both classes you reuse the properties from the parent class whilst adding their own unique functions or information. Now, the class stores an artist name, whilst the podcast class stores the host name. Now, the music player classes manages the collection of media files, MP3, WAV, so on and so forth. So I use this C++ standard templates, library vector, to store the playlist, which is the media file playlist. Now, the advantage of using a vector is that it can dynamically grow as users add more songs or podcasts when they go along. Now, the vector stores pointers to the base class, which allows the program store a different media type uh, together. Now, this is an example of a polyphomous program because it can treat songs and podcasts as general media files while still calling their specific play functions. Now, when a user adds a music or a podcast, the program creates a new object using the new keyword. For example, let's say media list or playlist dot push underscore back. So that is you add a new music. This creates the objects in memory and shows to address in the vector. Now, because I use dynamic memory, I also need to release the memory when um, when the program ends. Now, the distractor of the music player classes uses late move these objects and prevents memory leaks. Now, this helps me to understand how memory management works in C++. However, I also included some file inputs and outputs. Now, the save playlist function uses the upstream library to write playlist information into a text file. Now, when the user selects the save option, the program stores title and duration of each media items. Now, this demonstrates how C++ can inherit with external files to store information permanently. So, in a nutshell, I'll demonstrate how the program is run and how music or podcast can be added onto um, the music application. Now, in a nutshell, through this project, I gained practical experience with C++ classes, inheritance, um, virtual functions, STL, containers, dynamic memory, and file handling. So I would say one of the biggest lessons I learned was how objects-oriented programming allows a program to be organized into reusable components that are easier to maintain and expand. So let's dive quickly into my VS Code so I could demonstrate how this program can run. Yeah, before that, I'll walk you through some of the codes that I wrote into the files, beginning with the media file. So we have because we are coding in C, we need some compilers and some installation of some applications in order to make this program run successfully. Some of these applications that I need to install in the VS Code was a C and C++ compiler, which will help to compile all the files into one application to enable the program or the the VS Code to understand what I'm trying to execute so that it can give me a result of the application I'm running. So this is a media file that I've raised, a short code that contains the code that runs the media files, being it the podcast and the music or song file. And also, I have here the music player, which contains some of the interface of the music player itself. Now, the podcast. This is a string of how lengthy the podcast and the host name and the song, like the same as the podcast. It shows the title of the song, the artist name, and the duration of the song, and probably the title of the song. Now we have the media file. This handle the media, be it a podcast or song or MP3 you are trying to play in the application, and also retains the duration of the media in seconds. So now this is the music player. This music player application shows the interface of the whole music player where we have the ISO stream, we have the F stream, we have the thread, and we have the chrono. So we have to include the music, the other files from the C, that is the music player, and we also have the include file that contains the song or the music or MP3 file. Then we have the last one that contains the podcast. So this code demonstrates, it shows the interface of the music player. That shows whether you can add a song, or you can save a song, or you can add a podcast. So this is the podcast code that shows the title, the duration, the host of the podcast. And the last one happens to be the song that shows the title, the artist, and the durations, which is being in seconds of the song. So now let's dive quickly into the terminal of VS Code so I can demonstrate how you can launch this program and add a song or a podcast of your liking. So let's dive quickly into it. So before that, it will take me to the folder that is my user DT101 and also document and the music player. So I have to save it in this particular order. So it will give me the extension of the file. So quickly, I'll go into executing the music file. So it will be full stop forward slash capital music with capital player, the first P capital dot exe. Now I've already compiled the codes in order to execute the music player. So when I'm done typing this, I'll just press enter, and in a split second, to give me the music player. So in this regard, I can add song, I can add podcasts, I can view the playlist, and I can play a song and save or exit, save and exit. But in this regard, we are going to add a song. So choose number one, press enter. So now it will give us which song that we want to add. So let's say I want to add, let's say the title is work. Then the artist will be Rihanna. Then duration. So this is the duration or the time you want it to, they want the song to play. So let's say typically it's around um, so 60 seconds make 1 minute. So 60 times 60 probably will be 120. So let's say it's 120 seconds, 120 seconds. So we'll just press enter. Then now our playlist is saved. So we can go to view playlist. So that is three. We want to see whether our playlist has been saved. Go to view playlist. Then we'll press. Then now it has given us the playlist. So it has given us an outcome, which is what? Work, and the duration is what? 120 seconds. So when we want to further add maybe a podcast, we just choose to and press enter to give us a title. Let's say maybe plus plus uh, tutorials, tutorial. Okay, then we press enter. Then we look for the host. Let's say I'll use my own name, Godfred. Then we'll press enter. Then we'll take the duration. So let's say the duration probably will be a bit lengthier because um, podcasts have some lengthier. So let's say we choose 600 seconds. Then we press enter. So automatically it have saved in the playlist .text file. Then we can continue by viewing the playlist. So we can come and choose three and press enter. Then it will give us all the playlists that we've saved. So we have the first one, the music, that is Work by Rihanna. Then the last one is what? The C++ tutorials by myself. So in this regard, this is how the code is run and this is how the application is running at the background. So when we are done, we can press 5, save, and what exit. Then that is it. We are done with executing the, the music player. So we can exit successfully. Then we can close the terminal. So that's it. This is are the files that contains the application music folder. Thank you for watching my video. I'll catch you in the next one where I'll add more advanced options to my music player during this project that I'm trying to build. Thank you again. Bye bye. See you next time.